I teach a number of different human geography courses, so my focus is in urban planning, Latin American studies, and migration, so international labor migration. So my research has really been focused on immigration at the local level, so thinking about how communities are positioning themselves within these broader sort of immigration debates, and then what kind of policies are communities and immigrant advocacy groups sort of proposing to try to welcome and sort of attract immigrants to communities like the Quad Cities and other places. And so I have been doing research with urban gardeners in particular as sort of part of my effort to try to understand who is coming to the Quad Cities, what kind of challenges do they face when they come to the Quad Cities, and then what are local governments and other organizations doing to try to position themselves within these broader sort of structures of immigration. Since the 1970s, there's been a real shift to recognizing that urban agriculture can provide local food for communities, can help people access local and healthy food. And then also there's I think a lot of research that shows that there are many other benefits, social and health benefits, to being outside and working in gardens. And Rock Island is a really interesting place because there are lots of different ethnic groups and racial groups that are farming here in Rock Island, in the city. There are a number of African American gardeners, a number of white gardeners, and a number of Mexican gardeners, but then also immigrants and refugees. But that type of community garden program is a way that newcomers are connected with the city. They're involved with city officials in developing their garden plots and providing information about what kind of crops they're growing. The Quad Cities has a long history of welcoming immigrants and refugees, and it's made the Quad Cities stronger. We can sort of look back to places like the Floreciente neighborhood, where is another place where my students have done research in it's right on the border between Rock Island and Moline. It's a fascinating neighborhood where initially Swedish immigrants settled, and then later on Polish and Greek immigrants came, and now it's largely a Mexican-American neighborhood. And the Floreciente neighborhood adds a lot to the Quad Cities, both in terms of the kind of cultural practices that are present there, the restaurants and the Mercado on 5th, which has now become a really great institution here in the Quad Cities. And I think we see in the immigrant and refugee communities, the newcomer communities that are here in the Quad Cities, a lot of new ideas, a lot of different ways of interacting with Rock Island and with the Quad Cities through these urban gardens, through the new crops and food dishes that they're introducing to the Quad Cities. There's a lot of complexity with the immigration debate, and it really depends on what's going on in places like Rock Island or like some of the other places I've worked in eastern Iowa, that we need to sort of move away from a lot of the abstract and unhelpful ways that we talk about it, and really think about some of the connections that immigrants are making in local communities, a lot of the ways that they're involved already and contributing to communities. And I hope that my research sort of helps contribute to debates about sort of what local communities are doing and some of the ways that local communities can be involved productively in these debates.